So let's go a little bit more into exactly what user experience is. And we're going to talk about different facets of it. So let's break it down with kind of like a basic definition. So user experience, what? It's how a user interacts with and experiences a product or a system or service. We're going to be talking mostly about websites here, but web applications or apps can play into that. And user experience is sort of a person's perceptions of the utility of that system they're using, how easy it is to use, how efficient it can be to find the information a person needs or what they're trying to accomplish. Right. Sarah, have you ever encountered a website with poor user experience? That's never
Yes, I
happened,
have.
right? No, really? Oh, say it ain't so. Um, I don't know if we definitely want to talk about specific ones, but you don't want to call anybody out here. But yeah, I admit that too. Like I've seen a lot of websites in my day, and some of them have been pretty bad. Some have been great, and I'll in most cases it comes up to user experience, right? I feel like user experience is kind of a newer term when I talk about in the last maybe 10 years or so. I feel like before that we kind of just thought of in terms of usability and design. What is your take on that, sir? I feel like there's been kind of like an umbrella term that user experience has become.
Well, in the past 10 years, we've gone from using the internet as like a supplementary material to like we live on the internet, literally
Mhm.
in some ways. So having sites and applications that work really, really well and work the way they need to is more important than ever. So if we're literally doing like 90% of our shopping online and the checkout system just doesn't work, or we're double
Mhm.
paying, or we're not being charged properly, or it's taking the wrong address or something, and that's just one of billions of examples. But if it's just not working, then we're actually not, it seems like a big jump, but not living the way we're supposed to be living. So yeah, user experience is crucial, even
We
more
want to
so
live
than
our best life here on the web.
ever.
We do. That's big. I think you hit the nail on the head. So I feel like there's been this progression over time, and I'm just going to wax philosophical for a moment, but we're going to dive into some specifics. Initially it's, hey, we're on the internet. We're talking about like 20 plus 30, going on 30 years now, right? Like, hey, there's a page on here, great. And then people can start adding images and animated things and music and stuff. We're talking about GeoCities and MySpace and stuff, right? Kids back in the day, my MySpace page played music. Um, yeah, and at some point, companies, professional organizations are thinking about, how are we going to ensure that people want to go to our page, our website than others, right? It's, the web design is a big piece. It looks great, whatever, that sort of thing. Well, some along the way, there's interactivity that occurs, people trying to do things, accomplish things with the website. It's not just, a one-way experience. And so usability, becomes super important. That really matters. And I think at some point the gradual evolution and progression of that is, well, all these things matter. So I was like, well, usability is most important. No, the design is most important. Like they all matter and they're all part of an overall user experience because you want, somebody to feel like your design and brand is very compelling and impactful. You want them to be able to use your site and get the information they need out of it. You want them to perceive it to be valuable and that what you're doing is meaningful. Do you want them to be impressed? People don't stick around for more than a split second if they're not, right? So use your experience, this umbrella term. And well, I kind of just touched on a few aspects there. And I think that's what we're kind of going to dive into today is these different pieces of user experience and how they might be different. They all kind of what they add to this overall picture, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's kind of start. We got like a little list here. Let's kind of start from the top. So here's a good one to think about. If your website or application, I'm going to talk mainly from the standpoint of websites. Um, one aspect of determine if it is presenting a good user experience. Is it useful? Like, does it actually meet the demands of your users? Well, that should seem pretty like pretty much like a matter of course, right, Sarah? But is it?
Yeah, you take the time and effort to create a website or create a web page or an application. You want it to be useful. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Um, Along with that, there's also the element of it being valuable. So useful and valuable. You're creating an application or creating a website or paying someone to do those things. You want people who spend time on your site to actually get the value out of it and get the use out of it. Hi, this is Sarah from Denver Data Web. Thanks for watching. Please like our video and subscribe for future digital strategy chats. You can also visit our website at denverdata.com or find us on social media at Denver Data Web.